And the help is real. You really could resolve your credit card debt. Call our credit card relief hotline now at 800-721-5365. That's 800-721-5365. 800-721-5365.
Good morning, Flint's News Talk 1470 WFNT. Dan Foley here with you, Dan Land. 7438255 is the number to call. As promised yesterday, we've got a couple of special guests with us. So I've got Jaime Curtis with me. He's the chairman of the Genesee County Board of Commissioners. And I've got John Gleason, who is the clerk for Genesee County, who also oversees the Register of Deeds office. Gentlemen, appreciate having you in again. We talked to each of you individually last week and thought it would be helpful to bring you in both together and kind of review this process for the tech fee that is generated, law passed in 2003, which is self-funding. You get a $5 fee from all the land documents that go through. I'll have you go right up to that mic, John, and make sure I've got you. Get a level from you there.
All right, how's that?
That sounds pretty good. So from your land documents that come from the deeds office, $5, and there's a question over where the money's going and how it's to be spent.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we've asked for an audit of the fund for almost, well, in a couple of weeks, it'll be 3 years. I asked in August of 2012 after the primary election that we review the office. I understood there was a lot of vitriolic between the county commissioners and the Register of Deeds at that time, Rose Bogartis. I wanted to be fair to everybody involved in the process.
Start fresh with a clean slate.
Rose Bogartis was leaving, and there were some troubling times, tough relationships, questionable actions. She sued the county board, and I was going to take office 4 months later. And I thought, to be fair to her, and to be fair to myself, but more importantly, to be fair to the taxpayers who paid her wage and my wage, that we should have a full and a transparent accounting of the finances of the office. It just makes sense. I think, as the chairman would tell you, I've addressed the board on a few occasions during public comment because we can't seem to get on the agenda. What I think is fair is that it be a county policy when you have a change of administrations, whether it's the drain commission, the prosecutor, the sheriff, the treasurer, the county clerk register. There's just millions of dollars that have been navigating through that department, and it should be fair to the outgoing person that false blame isn't put on that administration and to hold the incoming administration fully accountable.
All right, and Chairman Curtis, we talked about this when you were here last week on Thursday. In terms of an audit, as a new commissioner is coming in, new Register of Deeds is coming in, is that something that the board would support?
The board did pass Monday a resolution on F6 authorizing a one-year audit from the company that the clerk deed requested, Gambridge and Company out of Grand Rapids, not to exceed $2,800, and to do an audit specifically only on the automation tech fund portion of that office.
And that's for 2013 to 2014, but Clerk Gleason is asking about from the get-go, like when there's a transition in one of these positions.
Well, we're mandated by law to do audits all the way across the county, all the departments, and when that happens, it's a 6-month process, and the auditing firm comes in and they have a meeting and they come to a public board meeting and they make it announcement that if anybody thinks that there is any particular item that needs to be zeroed in on, then bring it to their attention and they will hone in on that item. So that's ongoing and it happens every year.
I need to say something regarding that.
And both, if I can have you up to your microphones, that'll help a lot.
I got to say something regarding that. About 90 days ago, we began a relationship, a very serious relationship, with the between the Genesee County Clerk Register Office and the State Department of Treasury. Last year's audit, called the CAFR, that's what CAFR, that's the annual accounting of the county. When the report came back from the State Department of Treasury, our controller was found not in compliance with state statutes. He had not fulfilled responsibilities that were required under law.
With respect to the tech fund?
No, with respect to the county annual audit.
Okay.
There had to be a very serious effort to amend the CAFR in Genesee County.
So they had to amend the audit.
I've been in office 20 years. I dealt with that CAFR 8 years as a county commissioner. I have never, ever, as a state rep, state senator, county clerk, county commissioner, I have never seen such a scathing report from the Department of Treasury to anyone as was directed towards our controller. It was scathing. And as a matter of fact, when our relationship began with the state treasury and my chief assistant in my clerk's office, when we had the state treasury on the phone, and I will quote this, the state treasurer told us, the representative from the office told us that the controller, I'll begin the quote now, was not doing the day-to-day job of the controller, unquote. That's how scathing that report
Dan,
was.
I want to respond to
Yep,
this.
absolutely,
Look,
Chairman Curtis.
Look, I don't deal in he said, she said. Mr. Gleason's making all kind of statements over there. Give me the documentations from the Treasury Department, because I can counter it with them saying what you saying and the allegations you're making are false and untrue. So if you have written documentation to support what you're saying, let's go from there.
I actually
Other
do.
than that,
I have
I'm
that.
tired of he said, she said.
I have that documentation.
Well, then where is it?
The way I understand, the chairman of the board received it too. It was about a 4-page statement from the Department of Treasury, very well defined, well written. The gentleman that sent the communication, his name is Kerry Vaughn, who's easy enough to track down at the State Department of Treasury. My concern was that things aren't happening the way they should. I've been held hostage. I'll just say this. This is important. This is important. This is why the red flag was raised to our department. As county clerk, I received that communication because of the office, not because of me. I was CC'd as county clerk in regard.
When was this?
This was about 90 days ago, 3 months ago.
Dan, I don't recall any communication as saying.
Yeah, I don't have the document either. I just want to come back to where we started and where this was
and
originally.
Furthermore, let me give you a little history. Mr. Francis, who the controller now, inherited.
When did he become controller?
He came in the first quarter of 13.
2013 first quarter.
And he had to inherit the outgoing controller, who we had.
Martini?
Yes, who we had very, very much problematics, and it goes back to 2010 and 2011.
When is the audit that you're saying the treasurer?
There's newspaper articles on it, but he
I know,
had to
I
clean
remember.
up deficit elimination funds.
Yeah.
So when was the? So when are you saying that the? What year is the state treasurer? You're alleging that you got communication from the treasurer, and I just haven't seen it.
It's FOIA-able. Anybody that wants the information can FOIA my office. In fact, I won't even require a FOIA. If somebody wants to, we'll give it to them.
I haven't seen it.
Well, bring it in.
I would say this. This is why the red flag.
What year is that from? What year is that from? Is my question.
Last year.
This is from last year's annual audit for the year 2013-14.
Yeah.
For 2013-14.
Dan, I want to make a statement to that. We have to have qualifying status. Do you know what qualifying status is?
I do not.
Okay, qualifying status means that everything is above board, cleaned up, ready to go. We have sold and issued over $300 million of bonds to build the water line. If you don't have qualifying status, you don't get the permission to sell those bonds.
Yep.
So how can this clerk make those kind of statements and get, and the Genesee County can go out for bond and build the water line if we didn't have qualifying status?
We're going to come back.
Frustrates
We're going to move on from that. Absent the documentation, I'm going to look at the stuff that I've got here with me. Now I do have what was passed. The board passed this Monday the resolution to accept the audit from
2013-14 for automation tech line. There's the cover sheet that she requested.
Gaybridge and Company.
And if you go through that contract on the last page, you'll see Mr. Gleason's signature.
Yep, and it's got your signature on it. So this is what you sent over originally, John, for the request for the audit. Now, on the back page, and this is what I understand was at issue, this line. Our fee for these services will be at our standard hourly rate, except that we agree that our gross fee, including expenses, will not exceed $27.80. And this is, again, from Gaybridge. This is on their letterhead. This is what was forwarded to the commissioners. We agree to keep the audit fee fixed at $27.80 in italics for each additional fiscal year, end of italics, audited between fiscal years ending September 30, 2003 through September 30, 2013. So it looks like it was something that was set up originally to go beyond the one-year audit that's been approved, and that was why you amended. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
The issue here...
That's a cost of $30,580.
The issue there is, as anybody that's ever overseen a budget would tell you, that once they came into the office, once Gaybridge, we actually wanted the State Department of Treasury to do the, we were pushing hard to have them come in.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted $4,500 a week. We thought we could get the right information for the 2870 or whatever,
2780, yeah.
We thought we could do it under 3,000 for the information that was required.
Yep.
The issue is, once they find wrongdoing, which they're going to find, I mean, we have a line item in the tech fund that's dedicated to the Sheriff's Blue Cross and Blue Shield health plan.
I don't see that in here.
No, but you will. I mean, you don't have a foot-tall piece of literature like I do in my office. Okay.
Yeah.
And the other concern is there's a Buck Consulting that's a line item in the tech fund as well. That's a Xerox copy of contracts. This is what our concern is. Once they find, I don't want to go through the process. We just went 3 years before we could get one audit. I don't want to go back before the Board of Commissioners and say, we need more money. Because Gaybridge, once they start digging, the process continues if there is wrongdoing found.
You can't presume that there's going to be wrong. I mean, you just can't do it.
It doesn't matter. Then they don't come. Then they don't continue.
Then they don't continue. But
it's not written that way, Dan.
Yeah, it isn't written that way. I see the attachment.
Multiple years, 11 years, 30,580 is not written. Is if
we're not on a
find
witch hunt
something,
here.
We're going to go farther.
Let me just go back here to why we want the audit again. First of all, it should be standard order procedure on change of administrations. This is a big concern that we have.
But there is an audit, and that's what originally led us astray. There's an audit that was...
There's an exclusive audit, extensive, all through the components, GC card, water and waste, drains, CMH,
and that's what you're referring to, the problem from the Treasury. So it's not that there wasn't an audit, but that you're saying the audit was problematic.
That audit was not as involved as it should be because it was a comprehensive audit of the county. If that was good enough, if that audit was good enough, then why do the Board of Commissioners have Gaybridge in doing an audit for the Planning Commission?
Because you requested it.
No, I didn't request it. They're in there doing an audit for the Planning Commission.
Gotcha.
They're in there doing an audit for the Senior Services Department. They're already in the administration.
So they're going into some specific areas.
That's not true. They don't do the audit for the planning. That's a firm out of Saginaw.
Well, okay, whoever.
They're on retainer to do the individual audits for the senior centers on an annualized
Which was a special election. They got a millage, then they're looking at that.
And that cost, which is a whole lot more activity than one line item in the Register of Deeds. The total cost is $3,630 for each center.
All right, I want to get into the specifics. This is one of the things that we talked about, trying to figure out what it is that you're after. And I've got your memo, and I understand that this isn't extensive, but we do have some line items here.
Yeah.
All right, and this was from Roberta Sikarsky, Chief Deputy Register of Deeds from your office, and this was to you. And she mentions the two funds. There's a Fund 101, General Fund, and there's the Fund 231, the ROD New Technology Fund, which is the one at issue specifically. I understand there are other outstanding items to go here. Under salary, she says there are currently as many as 8 salaries being improperly paid out of the Automation Fund. Now, I've got some of the line items she included in this memoranda. We're going to go through those, but I've got to take a break first. So when we come back, we're going to identify what this stuff is. We're going to ask Chairman Curtis about it, have him respond, and we'll pick it up from there. Gentlemen, I appreciate having you. We've got Clerk John Gleason with us. We've got Chairman of the Genesee County Board of Commissioners, Jaime Curtis, and we're going to be back right after this. Flint's News Talk, 1470 WFNT.
Same great food, new location. Zippy's Pizza has moved to Miller Road in Swartz Creek. They serve up some of the best food around, from gourmet and specialty pizzas to grinders and pasta dishes, and those delicious Zippy twists. You're going to enjoy the fantastic food that Zippy's has been making for over 30 years. Same phone number, too. So call for takeouts at 635-0400. Deb will be happy to see you. So stop by Zippy's Pizza, now in the Gilroy's Plaza on Miller Road in Swartz Creek.
Need an affordable tractor to tackle tough jobs? Check out Kubota's all-new B2301 and 2601 tractors. They're loaded with features like powerful Kubota diesel engines and drive-over mid-mount mowers. Now, during Kubota's More Power to You event, you can get financing as low as 0% APR for up to 5 years. That's value. That's Kubota. Financing available through Kubota Credit Corporation USA. Call toll-free 1-888-465-8268 for details about costs and terms. For more information or to find a participating dealer, visit MichiganKubotaDealers.com.
When you say Susky, you mean Chevy or Buick.
The Chevy Summer Bonus Tag event is going on now at Susky Chevrolet in Bertrand. Get a brand new Chevy Silverado double cab 4x4 on a 24-month GMS lease for just $149 per month. Or get a beautiful new Malibu just $134 per month. These are 24-month GMS leases to well-qualified GM buyers with all rebates to dealer. $1,998 down using lease loyalty and approved credit. The lot is covered with Yellow Summer Bonus Tags. Big city deals and selection with that small town easy attitude. Come on up to Susky Chevrolet in Bertrand and have a look around.
Glenn Beck.
Who is America? If I asked you to define America, you could use the old language. Well, we believe in life, liberty. Do we? Do our actions match those things? We believe in life, but nobody has a right to take away a human life. Tell me about abortion. Liberty. Really? Tell me about the secret courts that happen here. The pursuit of happiness. Really? Show me how easy it is for you to build something today without the government coming in and going, whoa, 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 whoa.
This is the Glenn Beck Program.
Did you know that the average cost for a family of 4 to attend a professional baseball game is over $200? At the same time, over 40% of all sports, concert, and theater tickets go unsold. So how come we're all paying so much when so many seats go empty? I'm Adam Canner, founder of ScoreBig.com. We found a way to work directly with teams and venues to get their unsold seats and pass the huge savings on to you. On ScoreBig.com, we guarantee you'll save on great sports, concert, and theater tickets. And we're not talking about last-minute nosebleed seats to events you don't want to see, but millions of great seats for the best events, days, weeks, even months in advance. On ScoreBig.com, when you successfully name a ticket price, on average, you'll save over 33% below box office price each time you buy, with no added fees or shipping charges ever. There are lots of places to buy tickets, but if you really want to save, then check out ScoreBig.com.
And now save even more at ScoreBig.com. Click on the radio mic and enter code 7000, and we'll take an additional $20 off your ticket purchase. That's ScoreBig.com, promo code 7000.
We are back. Flint's News Talk, 1470 WFNT. I've got Chairman of the Genesee County Board of Commissioners, Jaime Curtis, with me. I've got Genesee County Clerk John Gleason, and we're talking about dispute over the use of the tech fund that is to be used in the Register of Deeds office to upgrade technology, and it's specifically for that. I've got an opinion here from firm Cole, Stoker, and Toski to the Michigan Association of Registers of Deeds, and it's questions and answers regarding the fund. So it's providing some guidance to people so that they know what this money can be used for and what it is not supposed to be used for. Now, in the break, we were talking just a little bit as we were going to move on to it. I understand that Commissioner Curtis, you've got an extensive reply here, and if I can get a copy of that from you afterwards, I'll be able to take a look at it to all the points that are brought up in this memorandum. But I wanted to talk about this as well and bring up some of these points and get your response to this as well. She says in the memorandum, this is Roberta Sikarsky, who's the Chief Deputy Register of Deeds. Under salary, she says, there are currently as many as 8 salaries being improperly paid out of the automation fund. Now, when I look at the line items, I see, and look at the notes, she's got salary expenses and fringe benefits, 2 lines, or 2, there's a bunch of lines under these headings, 3 under salary expenses and 8 or 9 under fringe benefits. She puts in a note that this is for 2 full-time salaries. Those look like salaries to me, 2 people, and we talked about this and you'd said that there were 2 people. The other ones that I see are under headings called other service charges. The total for the first one is $116,390 for 2 salaries, and then $66,094 for fringe benefits for those 2 salaries, and that's a total of 3 lines: salary permanent, longevity, salary overtime. The other one has post-retirement benefits, medical insurance, retirement, Social Security, dental insurance, health insurance, workman's comp, optical insurance, unemployment, etc. Normal lines for 2 employees. So you've got 2 salaries that look like they're under this. Under other service charges, this is a line in the budget, service general or service contract general, $150,000, and in a note she puts that this is salaries for 4 full-time DTS contract workers. I want to know what that is and why that doesn't look like a salary line. What are those 4 DTS contract workers?
The DTS is an arrangement that was made by the prior register. Those are 4 contract employees that we want to work with the commissioners and remove the contract workers and put those on the general fund line item as county employees.
Okay.
This was an arrangement that...
so this is an arrangement... You didn't set this arrangement up,
No.
and you didn't set the arrangement up either, did you, Commissioner Curtis?
I didn't set it up. I might have been on the board when all requests to spend tech fund comes out of the Register of Deeds office.
Yep.
So I might have been there to vote on it.
Okay.
I'm not in disagreement with Mr. Gleason.
It's not a good arrangement. It's counterproductive.
He has
actually.
the ability and authority to hire and fire.
So you can change that if you want to as well.
We're trying.
Okay.
That's what we're...
But
we've
if
been
it's
trying
an
to do
eligible
that.
expenditure, Dan, out of the tech fund, it's not being paid. It's not going to be paid out of the general fund.
And I just want to read from this letter from Cole, Stoker, and Toski. It says, if the county has an information services department, can the county require that the register use them if we don't feel they can provide the service or security needed? Answer: the County Board of Commissioners may control the funding of the required upgrading of technology through the budget process. It may not, however, dictate that services must be provided by a specific provider, whether in-house or otherwise. Can't dictate it, but it is possible that it could be used for it if there's agreement.
The tech fund starts in the deeds office.
Yep.
You have to get a sign-off from the office.
So the question is whether or not the previous Register of Deeds initiated that, and the board's, I mean, it's in the budget, so somebody approved this, right?
Well, I'm going to just go back to what Mr. Curtis said earlier.
Okay.
And he does. I think he's got a legitimate beef there. He mentioned about the mess that the controller encountered. I'm going to tell you one thing. That's why we think it's important to move forward, because I think Mr. Curtis would say that they didn't have the most enjoyable relationship with the prior administration. We're just trying to get right. We've encountered many things as we keep digging. I finally got my chief register that I wanted to hire about 4 months ago. So now we're just splaying open the budget and trying to find where we can actually save money and put the office in a more business-like position.
If I could just focus on the lines that are from the memo.
Do I have that?
It sounds like, yeah, I gave you a copy of that as well, John. So there's $150,000. This is for the salaries that it says, and it's obviously they're not paying the salaries, but they're paying for the services for 4 full-time employees. So we've got only two employees right now in this budget line. This is $150,000. It's for 4 DTS contract workers. What are DTS? What does that stand for?
It's a contract company that is hired to change old archives and update them to digital new technology.
And this updating is covered in this line as well. The memo from Cole, Stoker, and Toski says that that's a permissible usage. So, but you're absolutely correct. It's got to come from you. So if you want to change that, you can.
We're trying to get it changed.
And the board's not going to oppose his. If he wants to unappoint them or let that firm go and hire a new firm, the only thing the board said to him is that you have to be able to pay for it and negotiate a contract based on the amount of money you take in on the tech fund, if it's tech fund related.
Here's the trouble that we've had in that office. There's long-time relationships. These DTS employees, they are actually they work with technology, document technology services, DTS. That's the contractor. They provide the software.
Yep.
In both the Register of Deeds office and the clerk's office. They are a major vendor in Genesee County.
Okay.
There was a relationship because they were so far behind in data entry. We have documentation that the prior deed was 8 months behind in getting the documents where they needed to go. So there was an arrangement with DTS and the county to bring in 4 contract employees.
Mm-hmm.
But it's counterproductive because we can actually, upon the investment of a new software, we can undertake this responsibility with county workers. We don't need these guys. But I think what it was a sweetheart deal with the software vendor in the county.
Whatever it was, it sounds like you're forcing an open door. If you want to change it, you don't need to keep these guys then.
We're still behind in our documents because we.
So you do need to keep them. You'd like to keep these people, but you just want not to have them funded out of the tech fund. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct.
Okay.
But if it's an eligible expenditure, as Cole Watoski said, why would we pay for it out of general
Because
fund?
it's redundancy. The folks in the Register of Deeds, the regular Genesee County employees, can do this work.
Okay.
We're getting closer to.
We don't dispute that, John. But if it's an eligible expenditure, that's what the tech
But
fund
we
was
shouldn't spend
designed
money.
for.
But it's wrong. It's unethical. It's immoral. It's irresponsible.
But it's
to
in
spend
the-
money just because you can spend money. You shouldn't spend money just because you
but
can.
it's for. But if it's
That's what it was
eligible,
designed for.
if it's eligible, that's what it's designed for.
No, I don't care if it's eligible. If it's not a worthwhile expense, if you shouldn't be doing it, you shouldn't be spending it.
Dan, that's what it was originated for from the House of Representatives and the Senate. That's
It
why
doesn't
passed
matter.
in
Why
03.
would you spend money that you shouldn't spend?
What are you going to
Just
do with it,
because you
John?
can.
But
If
you're
you
not
don't
saying.
spend it. What are you going to do with it?
But you're not saying don't spend it. You're saying you just don't want to pay for it out of the tech
spend
fund.
right.
Well, no, but
We
you want to
don't-
keep those guys, right?
No.
So
I
the
don't
money
wanna
can
keep-
go away. Do whatever you want with it.
That's why we're migrating from the old software company to a new one.
Right.
These guys are on the payroll with DTS through the county, okay? This was a relationship by the prior register that's counterproductive.
Do these 4 people? Do they provide other services for the county?
No, they're my employees.
Okay.
That's all they do. They
If you don't want them, why would you keep them?
Well, when we get the new software, they're not going to be there.
Okay.
Because there's a real hindrance. With
Okay.
the software was a bad buy too.
And you know what? It sounds like you both agree that you kind of inherited a mess, and obviously you want to use this to the best possible sort. It sounds like this needs to go away, and I don't think you've got
I
disagreement.
have
No,
no issues. All
no,
I'm
I
saying,
think-
and I'm saying it time and time again, and he disagrees with me, is if it's an eligible expenditure to pay for whomever he hires, whether the county employees or a contractor, they get to be paid out of that fund.
And
Now,
it does look to me like it's an eligible expenditure.
And
I mean,
it's-
obviously I'm not
It
an attorney.
doesn't matter if it's eligible. There's a lot of things that are eligible for all
Well,
sorts of
you previously
funding.
said that it wasn't eligible, though, and that
No,
was
not
part of the
that one.
problem.
No, not
Okay.
that one.
All right.
Not that one.
So that's
No.
part of it. This explains where the money goes and why, because I want to get to the question of why there's only $36,000 in the fund, too. But, I mean, this is a big chunk. You've got almost $200,000 for 2 employees when you count salary and benefits, just shy of $200,000. You got $150,000 for these 4 people. And then you've got interfund expenditures, $94,498. What is that for? This says, the footnote to it from the memoranda says that it is for 1 IT tech person. Is that correct?
Can you tell me again where you're looking?
I'm looking at, I'm on page 2 of the memo from Roberta.
on 5/11/15.
And it's
Sub 3?
it's just before, no, it's that first, yeah, it's sub 3, it's sub 4 actually, interfund expenditures.
Okay, I see.
And she's got a footnote there. 3 says that it's for 1 full-time IT tech person, and it totals
Yeah.
$94,498.
That would probably be our. This is misclassified and misutilized as well. I think this might have been the individual they were talking about laying off.
Okay.
Because it's once again it's redundancy. We're not in the business of causing trouble. What we want to do is get that office where most other counties are. We don't need a tech person because
Okay.
we're paying an awful lot of money to an IT department that we can use upon
Perfect.
need.
But this tech person, obviously, that qualifies. That's an eligible expense. Would you agree?
No.
That's not an eligible expense.
No.
Dan, I'm going to help Mr. Gleason out. That footnote is reference to the IT person that was assigned there to do technology work, and they have released her and sent her back, and she's no longer being paid out of the tech fund. Like I said, the requests all come from the deeds, and we honor.
No, actually, that's not a true statement.
That's Amy's job.
No, that's not true.
Amy Roberts.
No,
I can't tell from the
I'm not going to use her name on the air, but I'm going to tell you right now, we have a Tech 1 in our office today that's on the payroll today, and she's been there. We are trying to transition her out as well. She's been there for a number of years. I would say everybody in the office would say she's the most qualified person. But the trouble is there's been, once again, sweetheart deals. We're trying to get the classifications right, because here's the trouble.
Well,
I'm not going to pay out of the tech fund for a tech person that I don't need. We have an IT department. If we need support, we can get a hold of the IT department and bring down the temporary support. What we need is clerks to accept documents, to record documents, and to get documents back. The trouble with the IT tech person today is because of parameters on job descriptions in the office with collective bargaining units, she cannot do the day-to-day work of a clerk. She has the title of Tech 1, which is way wrong. And I'm not arguing with Mr. Curtis, because he knows that these practices have gone. I think Mr. Curtis really does want to fix this. I really believe he does. But we have a lot of issues. The DTS, the Tech 1 person. He's right. We did have a lady that was in there as a tech person, that she's no longer there. And the commissioners, I have to thank them. They were helpful in removing that position.
Okay.
But we still have another one in there.
Okay.
And we are getting charged about $10,000 a month from the IT department when we have an IT person in our office already.
Okay.
What we need to do is get that classification right.
But this sounds like it's a separate issue, because it sounds like both of you agree you've removed that from funding through the tech fund, and so that's a separate issue. We
haven't removed it.
Okay.
We want to.
The new person, but it's not a tech fund issue.
No, it's a general fund issue.
General fund issue. We're going to stay away from it then, because I want to focus on the tech fund for right now. That totals
$400. This money's coming out of the tech fund every day. So
you just said it's a general fund expenditure, though.
No, it should be, I said.
Should be, but it's not.
No, we have a tech person in there now.
All right, so there's $426,982 that is characterized in this memorandum as salaries. It's 7 people, not 8 people. 4 of them are contract service employees. 1 of them a tech person. I'm not clear on how that is exactly. Are we in agreement on the 2 people who are above? That's, you got actual salary expenses, you've got actual fringe benefits. Who are these 2 people? What are they doing? Is the money being used on these 2 people appropriate under the tech fund?
Well, first of all, Dan, all that you're reading from is back in May, and none of that exists today.
Okay.
There's only one.
So this all got changed.
There's only 1.5 people being paid out of the tech fund today.
Okay.
1.5 people.
So you guys got together. Some changes have been made, because this is obviously
request came.
They come from the Register of Deeds.
Accommodated the request.
Okay. So is it one of the things that she's got down here in this memorandum? There's a balance right now, and this is as of May. May 11th is the date of the memorandum. $36,515.92. Is that where the fund stood at that time? Is it still there? Where are we at right now with money in the
That's
tech
where
fund?
It was on that date. Yes.
Okay. Do we know where it is currently? Do you have an idea where you're at right now,
Well,
John?
that's the trouble. That's why we want the audit. This is the process that has been used in the past. We have the end of the day receipts. Everybody that comes in and gets a land document, the first $5, the state of Michigan thought it was so important that the first $5 from a purchase goes into the tech fund. Then we send our receipts to the treasurer's office, okay? And then the treasurer's office sends them to the controller's office. Here's one of the red flags that we have. When the receipts go to the controller's office, in the upper right-hand corner, they have journal entries, and whatever the line item number is at that time. They'll have, which is tremendously unprofessional. They'll have journal entry, whatever number. And they will strike out, this is all by pencil, they will strike out that line item in the tech fund and reduce it many times to half of what we have sent it through the process. That's why we want an audit.
How long will the audit take for the 1-year audit?
I think probably 3 weeks.
So we'll know.
They said July 10th through the August 6th, but I don't believe they're in there yet, so that's 19 business days. But I want to make a comment to what he just said.
Yeah, here's you've handed me.
Because if you look at this,
and what is it, Commissioner Curtis?
This is their journal entry. This is one of his appointees taking this over to the treasurer, making a deposit on 6/1/15, and that's where the treasurer's doing it.
All right, so this is from the Register of Deeds office.
Right.
So this is an
these
employee.
are the line items they put in,
Okay.
the second or third one. What he's explaining, I agree with him 100%, but it's not the controller's office that is marking these up and changing it. It's the treasurer's office, because what we have found...
They're responsible for recording their own...
What we have found, Dan, is you can't have a negative cash receipt. And they were sending from the deeds to the treasurers a negative cash receipt. So the treasurer went down. You can ask, you'll see it. The treasurer went down and said, well, you can't have a negative cash receipt. So they go down the line item until there was enough money and reconcile. And all they care is what was given to them versus what was they're going to record.
That's not even true at all. I can promise you, I've seen them. I have seen the receipts at the end of the day. I can promise you it's this much. It's
let me ask you
easy.
this: they originate out of your office, though,
yes.
correct?
Yes.
So you're turning the daily receipts over to the treasurer.
Yes.
Okay.
And we had a meeting probably 2.5 weeks ago now with the treasurer's office and the controller's office and our office.
John,
and this was brought to light, and there's not a negative, because there are literally sometimes $10,000 on the line item for tech fund.
And it got reduced to $3,100. How do you explain that?
It's not us.
It's not the controller.
It's not us.
It's not the controller, John.
But you're saying there's a negative reported. No, there's no negative.
Well, why did
reported.
they reduce it? From the line item that had the most money, why did they make the adjustment in the journal entry and bring it down?
Why did they illegally alter money from the tech fund?
All right, listen, whether or not it's illegal. Well, that is a question, because it's not clear that there is. I mean, just from looking at the information you've provided. We'll go down and talk about this, and you'll know more, obviously, when the audit comes back.
That's why we need to have an audit, because
it's coming.
It's fair. If you can have an understanding.
The audit's not to be talked about. I mean, we agreed to it. It's coming. We've passed it.
Right. Yeah, I'll tell you what. We'll come back to it. We'll reset here. Take a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk about other improper uses of the funds alleged in this memorandum. We'll address these. This is smaller. The big enchilada here are the salaries, and I think we've gone through this. That's a lot of money, obviously. So it's important to get a handle on this. There's $18,200 in additional alleged improper uses. We'll talk about those when we come back. Flint's News Talk 1470 WFNT. Right after this.
Oh, summertime is fun time, and you know it always happens at the Flushing A. Remember cruising the drive-in, showing off your ride, and the car hop service? Well, old school has never been better than the Flushing A right now. They've got burgers, dogs, frosty mugs of root beer, and so much more. Or you can dine in and still soak up that 50s cruising atmosphere. Custom car cruises happening all year long. Great food and fun, too, at the Flushing A, located on South Cherry Street in beautiful downtown Flushing.
Grand Blanc Huntsman's Club, a beautiful 80-acre private facility established in 1957, invites you to visit their website at gbhuntsmans.com and explore all the ways you and your friends can share the sport of skeet, trap, and sporting clays. Come out and shoot the course. Grand Blanc Huntsman's Club is open to the public for shotgun sports. As a member, enjoy all the facilities, including a rifle and pistol range, clubhouse, and weekly events. This is an excellent chance to sight in your guns for hunting, share a fun, safe, and exciting sport with your friends, and learn from some of the best shooters in the state. Hours are Wednesday 9 to 9 and weekends 9 to 5. Sign up for their CPL classes taught by club experts. You'll learn all about the moral and legal aspects of personal defense, what firearm best fits your needs, how to care for it properly, how to use it safely, and get the most out of your ability to carry. Grand Blanc Huntsman's Club is the fun, safe way to shoot. Visit gbhuntsmans.com for information. Become a part of the Grand Blanc Huntsman's Club family and exercise your right today.
I'm a state-of-the-art 60-inch flat-screen TV. And I mean, not to brag or anything, but if a burglar ever breaks into this place, I'm pretty certain I'm the first thing he's going to steal. I mean, it's not like he's going to take that recliner over there. Or that coffee table.
Your stuff can't protect itself. That's why the Geico Insurance Agency helps make it easy to switch and save on renter's insurance. Renter's insurance will cover personal property loss or damage as well as provide liability protection. Visit geico.com today.
What would an extra $250 a month mean to you? For some, it's a little financial breathing room. For others, it's a car payment, a home repair, or help with college tuition. Hi, I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans, and I've got some great news if you're looking to save money on your mortgage. All it takes is a simple phone call to Quicken Loans at 800-QUICKEN to see if you qualify for the government's Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP. Folks who refinance with HARP can save an average of $250 a month. That's $3,000 a year. Our home loan experts fully understand the HARP guidelines, and they'll walk you through our streamlined process. And for 5 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction. And this year, for the first time, they've also ranked us highest in mortgage servicing. Call 800-QUICKEN or visit QuickenLoans.com.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Important terms and conditions apply. Call us for cost information. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states and MLS number 3030.
The Gunsmiths are in Saturday mornings at 8 right here on Flint's News Talk 1470 WFNT. Jonathan and Jacob Smith, they are the Gunsmiths. Learn about what's new in the industry, get updates on laws and regulations, and find out what they shot during the week. The Gunsmiths are brought to you by Williams Gunsight Company in Davison and Duragard Roofing. Join the Gunsmiths Saturday mornings at 8 right here on Flint's News Talk 1470 WFNT.
We are back. Flint's News Talk 1470 WFNT. Dan Foley here with Clerk John Gleason and Jaime Curtis, Genesee County Board of Commissioners, the chairman. I really appreciate you guys taking time to come and wade through this stuff and talk about it. I think it's important to get a handle on what's going on. Obviously, this is, how we spend taxpayer money is important. The folks who are paying for these fees, they're paying to have this done. This is the legislation from the state. You want to make sure that it's being properly used. It looks like all this stuff is documented. There's a response that Commissioner Curtis gave me to all the points made by Roberta from Roberta Sikarsky, your deputy register of deeds. So instead of, I'm not even going to go into these other improper uses. It's a small amount. It's office supplies. It's travel workshops. That's listed in here as something that can be used if it's for technology. The audit will answer this. That's about 3 weeks away. Just overall, just the broader question: what is it that needs to be done? What do you need? How much do you need that would make this? What is the end game? What is it for? What is it you have to have that you don't have right now that you think should be funded from the tech fees?
We want to break some old habits that we think in both the firms in Lansing, Clark Hill and Stoker Cole.
So this is simply procedural. It's just about methodology. It doesn't have anything to do with something that your office needs.
We can't break the law. We cannot break the law. That's our biggest concern right now.
It's a question whether you are or not.
No. It's not a question to me.
Okay.
And it's not a question to two law firms in Lansing.
Okay.
At all.
Then let me ask you this. You've said several times here today that just because you can doesn't mean you should. That's not against the law. That's a difference of opinion on a fund that's eligible for an expenditure. That's not against the law. That's a difference of opinion. And the County Board of Commissioners have been struggling with 7 years of declining revenue, and if we have a fund that allows us by law to give you the resources you need in your office, why wouldn't we use that fund under what its intended purposes were for the law?
Because it's not being spent the way the law said it should.
But those are two different questions, and he's right. If you say just because we can doesn't mean we should. When you say just because we can, you mean just because we can under the law doesn't mean we should.
I'm going to promise you right now, and there is no doubt in my mind whatsoever, I say this fully confident that what I'm saying is true. If you go to any municipality or school district that's in trouble, and there's a lot of bankruptcies that are hanging out there and many that have already occurred, you will see that the bankruptcy, one of the major reasons for the bankruptcy was the commingling and shuffling of money that they should not have spent. A lot of times,
Are you alleging that they're mingling funds?
Well, there's no question they're spending money that they shouldn't be spending on.
That's
on
a different.
items they
That doesn't answer the
there's no
question.
difference because that's
are
what
they mingling the
commingling money
funds?
is.
They're not.
Yes, they are.
They're taking money from a fund that has not been commingled. It's separate.
No,
it has
no.
its own accounting.
Yes.
And they're using it for improper purposes. That's what you're
They
alleging.
are commingling general fund and tech fund money.
Is that
That's
correct?
a fact.
No, we're following what the intended purposes of the law. That's what he keeps saying, that because it's right doesn't mean you should do it.
Right.
If you ask Flint, they'd like to go back and make sure that the money they spent was spent the right way. Just because they could spend it, and they did spend it.
Well, what I'm asking you, and this was the question that I started with, what is the right way? What is it that you would like to see the money spent on that's not being spent on right now?
We would like to have the general fund expenditures. There's not much argument about what the general fund expenditures in that office should be. That law is very definitive. And we need to invest money in a software that literally works. The software that we produce doesn't work.
It's not
Why
any
do
good.
we
You want
need
to
an
upgrade
audit?
it.
Let me say this. We had a $75,000 purchase of software before I came into office. Was it November or
So you
October?
were-
It's one of those months. Let me finish.
He handed it
One of
off.
those months
Yeah.
that there was a purchase.
Okay.
No purchase agreement. No contract. No paperwork. When they weren't fulfilling what we thought, actually Bogardus bought the system, not me,
Yep.
which was
Okay.
foolish. They should have never spent money.
She bought it
60
out of.
days or 90 days before she left office.
Okay.
That should have never occurred. We
Right.
have a new administration coming in.
Why would you do that?
There you go.
Totally agree.
So there's no paperwork.
Did
that
she-
money was bought out of the tech fund too.
That was.
Yes.
And obviously appropriately so because
How do you know?
Well, if it's
There's no paperwork. How do you say it's a
was it software for the Register of Deeds
Yes.
office?
Did we need it? Is it what we needed? Was it the best we could get for the money?
And I don't think, in talking to you, we talked about this. You don't have any problem with changing the software, right?
No,
or paying for it out of the tech
all
fund.
requests come from the Register of Deeds, regardless of who was there in office. Just like Mr. Gleason, if he wants to change DTS and go with Dan Foley Software Company, he brings
I wanna
a
talk to you about
request
that
forward
afterwards,
and
by
we
the way.
do it.
No, we are actually, Monday's a deadline to bring in the new generation of software for the Register of Deeds office.
Okay.
We've been out for requests for proposals on that.
Okay.
So that is going to change.
And you're going to be able to fund that through the tech fund.
Not with the money we have in there now. This is going to be a several hundred.
I've asked Mr. Gleason to arrange the contract based on 3-year historicals of what the tech fund generates and make a long-term contract. And if they really want to sell him the software that he so chooses, they'll work with him.
I
And
don't
he
have a
can
problem with
even
it.
put-
Here's the trouble. The money should already be in the bank.
I can't fix what should have or could have or it may or may not have happened. I can fix this. I can tell you, we're not disagreement that you can hire the software company you want. I've asked you to make a contract that you can afford based on a 3-year average, and if you get more
Of the money
funds,
going into the fund.
you get more funds, you can pay the contract down sooner. And if this contract that you want, if they want you to have it, they'll work with you.
We don't have any trouble with that.
Okay.
But once again, here's Genesee County on the hook to do business in an unusual fashion. The reason that the tech fund was enacted, I was there. The chairman said that I voted as a commissioner to spend money out of the tech fund, which I never did. I was never even in office as a commissioner when the tech fund was initiated. So, the reason that was implemented, the reason it became into effect, actually April 1st of 2003, was because of the thing that we're fighting about right now. Because everybody knew that business is ahead of government. Business makes the investments before government. Government's always the last one. So they said to stop the wrangling. There were many lawsuits back then. Ken Green, who works at Michigan State, will tell you how many lawsuits used to be generated. So what they said, we're going to take the first $5, right, because it's a good investment. We won't be wrangling over budget decisions because you will have a statutory line item that you can take and invest in software.
Yeah.
But it should be spent the right way. Now, we take in 95,000 documents a year in the deeds office. $5 a document. Okay,
And
that's
here's where-
$500,000 a year.
And here's where it's being spent, and
Let
it
me
looks like
ask
it's
you
going to be
this.
changed.
I know we're trying to. Well, believe me, we're trying.
Well, but it doesn't sound like you. Are you saying that you're not going to be able to pay for the software? You can't set it up the way that he's suggesting.
I never said that.
Out of the tech.
No,
fund.
he said that.
Okay.
We're going to work on installments.
All right.
But the point is, we have to do something unusual because something unusual happened already. If the tech fund was spent appropriately, then we wouldn't even be having to. I like that. You know, he's saying about the credit rating for the county. I'm going to tell you what. If you took our office, and we're legitimate with the budget.
We're at least better off than Wayne County, right?
Well, I like to take care of my own business. I'm not saying anything bad, but anyway. I want to say this. I think the commissioners have been misled for a long time on that office. They just fell in line. I think what Curtis is saying, just come and we'll pass it. I think prior administrations, prior boards have done that. There's enough evidence.
It's the Register of Deeds office. It's their responsibility to do it.
Yeah, but you should take your oath of office seriously. You take an oath, not for the office. You take an oath to uphold the law.
I'm sure you take your oath seriously, don't you, Commissioner Curtis? Well, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Flint's News Talk 1470 WFNT. Back right after this.
It's been said that every family get-together or party starts in the kitchen. So why not make your kitchen stand out with a new granite countertop from Starline Kitchens and Bath? Starline has been the leader in kitchen and bathroom design and remodeling for years. And the big box stores can't compete with Starline's quality, value, or service. And if you include the new Pioneer cabinets with your new granite countertop, you'll be the envy of the neighborhood. Pioneer cabinets are made right here in Michigan, and their quality is unmatched. I mean, nobody will take the time to go through their vast array of options and help you pick a design that will make your kitchen stand out.
Hi, I'm Dave Jordan, General Manager of Starline Kitchen and Bath. We're a locally owned company, and we've been Mid-Michigan's #1 choice in kitchen and baths since 1967. With our huge selection, great service, and the area's top design staff, the big box stores can't compare to what Starline can offer you. So please, before you buy anywhere else, come see us at Starline Kitchen and Bath. Our 10,000 square foot showroom is located just north of Flint on Pearson Road, 2 miles west of I-75, Flushing. Or visit us online at starlinekitchens.com.
Square Trade does not cover lost or stolen items. Savings based on 2-year iPhone plan with one claim compared to Asurion total equipment coverage as of April 10th, 2015.
Getting a new Galaxy, iPhone, or other smartphone? Get this. Every 2 seconds, one of us accidentally breaks our phone. So protecting your new smartphone is a smart idea. But if you have insurance from one of those big cell phone companies, you're paying way too much. I'm Steve Abernethy, and I founded Square Trade to give you a better choice. Phone insurance from Verizon, Sprint, or other wireless carriers can cost you as much as $11 every month, plus up to a $199 deductible when you break your phone. Square Trade phone protection is less than $5 a month with a much lower deductible. We can save you over $240. And switching to Square Trade is easy. Even if you're locked into a 2-year phone contract with Verizon, Sprint, or other wireless carrier, you can cancel their phone insurance anytime. We'll even show you how.
Switch to Square Trade now and save over $240. Visit squaretrade.com. That's squaretrade.com.
Square Trade! Here's a special message for those of you who owe the IRS at least $10,000 or more in back taxes. The IRS has special programs in place that could eliminate or reduce your tax debt by thousands of dollars. Call the tax helpline that has been set up to help you. 800-296-5419. That's 800-296-5419. Stop the wage garnishments, levies, and tax liens now. Once you've qualified and enrolled, the IRS will stop all the collection activities against you. These unique programs have been allocated to help the economy and significantly reduce or eliminate your tax burden. The IRS is currently accepting reduced settlements and other favorable programs. You may qualify for substantial savings, so get the help you need. For free information and to see if you qualify, take down the number now for the Tax Representation Hotline. 800-296-5419. That's 800-296-5419. 800-296-5419.
Listen, we are unfortunately out of time. It sounds to me like there's a fair amount of agreement, more than I would have expected, I think, initially. And I hope you guys get this resolved. I want to thank you for coming in again. Clerk Gleason, thanks so much. Commissioner Curtis, I appreciate you coming in and talking about this. Flint's News Talk, 1470 WFNT. Conversation with Jason Cooper is coming up next.
Flint's News Talk. Flint's News Talk. 1470 WFNT. WFNT. Flint.